Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Hope you're all fine. Our next lesson today is going to be the tablecloth. It's going to be the tablecloth. Tablecloths have different designs according to the tastes and preferences of different designers and according to the functions or to places where we are going to use them. For example, tablecloths we may use them at home. We may use them at on functions to decorate our tables, and they don't look like usual tables. But what do you need when you are going to do or are going to make a tablecloth? What do you need? You need the following measurements. Let us assume this is our table. Let us assume this is our table. This is our table. Right together. So this is our table, and some of the measurements that we need to come up with a tablecloth are the following. For example, you have to measure the length of the table or of the top or on the top of the table. This is the length of the top of the table, and this is the width. Right together. You have to make sure that before you make a tablecloth, you have these measurements on your fingertips, or you have already measured the table that you're going to use, these parts. And you have the length and you have the width. After that, you have to measure the length, I mean the height of the table. The height of the table from this top part up to down. All together. From this top part up to down. You have to make sure that you have those measurements. Let us take an example. If you have here 36, all together. Our length is 36. Our length is 36. Our width of the top of the table is, our width will be, let us say, it will be 17 altogether, and our height will be 20. Our height will be 20. So before you come up with any design of a tablecloth, you have to make sure that you have the following measurements, and you go on using the design. For example, you may use pleats, both the knife pleats and the box pleats. You may use gathers, but gathers are not usually used because they don't quite look good when they are applied on the tablecloth. So they mostly use the pleats, the knife pleats, and the box pleats. As we are going to see, we are going to get our table that we are going to measure, and we see inshallah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. This is the table we are going to use. I'm going to use this table to give us the measurements that we may need to continue with our tablecloth. For example, we shall measure the length from here up to here. It is 31. All together. We have 31 from here up to here. That's 31. And the width, 16. All together. 31. Sorry, it is 32. It is 32. The length is 32 and the width is 16. So you have to add halves. This side you have to add a half, and this side a half, making 33 inches in the length, and with the one that was 16, we shall add halves and we make 17. This side a half and this side half, all together. So our length is 33 and our width is 17 all together. And after that, you have to measure the height. You also have to measure the height going down, and our height is 28. but you should not let it to touch the ground because it may be darkened. So it was 28, and we are going to make 27 all together. But let us leave it at 28 because as we saw, that half inch will go and it will be 27 and a half, not touching the ground. All together. Here we go. We are going to use this kitenji as our top fabric. I mean on the base of the table on top. This will act as the what? As our top fabric. And for the length we had measured 33 plus the allowance together. And 33 runs from here up to, where is 33? Up to here. Up to here. This is our 33. All together. This is our 33. All together. So we can draw a straight line. We can draw a straight line so that we don't make something that is crooked. You have to first draw a straight line here. And then we measure our what? Our 33 from here running up to here. All together. So that's our length. And our width was 17. Our width was 17, and we have to measure our width. Maybe let us first draw a straight line. Let us first draw a straight line here. Then we measure our 17. From here up to where 17 may stop. Our 17, 15, 16, 17. Up to here where there is our 17. All together. So I can cut this part. I can first cut these straight lines so that I fold them and they give me the measurements of the opposite side. All together. So that they give me the measurements of the opposite side. I also cut this line. All together. So what I do, I get this part of the width, this is the width part. I get this part of the width, I turn it and I wrap it this side and it touches this part. All together. It touches this part, meaning that this is the length. All together, meaning that this is the length. All together. And we look for the part of the width where it stopped here. We mark this part, meaning that you have to draw a straight line running in that line. All together. So I'm free to cut this part too. All together. And let me also cut this part. All together. And make sure that they are equal. For example, let's say our length was 33. This is 33 altogether. This is 33, and if I put it here, it has to be fitting that part from this side altogether. It has to be fitting this part. I'm seeing 33 and a half. That is 33 and a half. I mean 33 divided by 2, we get 16 and a half. 16 and a half. We made some mistake. We reduced by 1 inch. Have to make sure that we add this 1 inch. That's a mistake, and let us see this part. The width doesn't change. Remember, the width was 17. I think 17 will be, that one will be enough for us. 17 is still enough. Let us try it on our table and we see. So that's how it will be. This is how it's going to be. This is the top part of our tablecloth altogether, but we reduced here by 1 inch or a half an inch, meaning that when we are sewing, you have to make sure that we leave a small sewing allowance so that our tablecloth fits onto the table. But remember, you always have to add 1 inch this side or half an inch this side and that side, so that by the time you put your tablecloth onto the table, it fits well. And for the width, you see the width is very nice, is fine. Our width is fine all together. And what you should not forget is that you have to, when you are going to measure the cloth for the height, you have to make sure that you measure a cloth that is you multiply. This side was 33 times 33, that is 66 altogether, plus 17 and 17, which is 34 altogether. So 34 plus 66, meaning that 34 plus 66, it will give us 100. So the circumference of your tablecloth, of the height of the cloth that is going down, has to be 100 altogether. So you have to make sure that your cloth should be 100 times 3 altogether. I'm repeating this. The circumference here, this side was 33, the other side was 33, this side was 17, and this side was 17, meaning that 33 plus 33 making 66, and 17 plus 17 making 34 altogether. 34 plus 36 will give us the circumference of the table. We are going to use this with the measurements of the circumference of the table. We are going to use it to cut the cloth of that we run from our table up to down, altogether, up to down. So what does it mean? We are going to use knife pleats or box pleats. You are going to use one of them, and those pleats will reduce our cloth. So what you have to do, since 66 plus 34 is 100, since it is 100, and we are going to use some pleats in it, that means we can add some more inches, more than 100. And how can we do it? We can say 100 times 2, since if you are going to use pleats that are not too compact. But if you are going to use pleats that are somehow compact, you can multiply accordingly. So we are going to multiply by 3. You're going to multiply by 3 so that we get knife pleats that look good and appear good onto the table. So this is our fabric that we are going to use, that will come round as the circumference of the table altogether. So this will be our height, and we said our height was 28. The height from the table up to down was 28. All together, this one is 28. This one, the whole cloth is 36, because I had bought poplin, which is 36 when you unfold it. So here we have to get our 28 all together. This will be from the table up to down, and we said the circumference of our table, we added it up, round, and it gave us 100. It gave us 100. So what you have to do, have to measure 100 onto this what? Onto this fabric all together. Have to measure 100 onto this fabric. Here we have 60, meaning that you're remaining with 40 inches to make 100 all together. This is 40. So our 100 stops here. Our 100 stops here. From this side up to where 100 stops, because 100 is the circumference of our table. And since you have to put there some designs, we have to add some more extra inches in order to come up with our designs. Maybe we may say we're going to use knife pleats, we may say we're going to use box pleats. So we have to add some more inches, and we may say we are going to use knife pleats, and you may multiply your 100 circumference inches, you multiply it by 2, since you are going to kill some space for the pleats altogether. Let me see if I get this part. How many inches am I going to add? You may add 100 inches or 200 inches. But if the fabric is not enough, I'm going to add 100 or lesser altogether. Now I'm going to add 60. I'm going to add the 60. Let me see. 66 inches altogether. So the inches that I've added, those inches that I've added are the one that will make the fabric are the ones that will allow the fabric to make pleats, and these are the pleats altogether. These are the pleats. This is one pleat altogether. This is another pleat, and you make something like this altogether. You make something of this kind altogether. We shall see these pleats mostly in skirts, but since we are doing our tablecloth, these are what we call pleats. So these pleats will cater for the space or for the allowance that we have added into our what? Into our fabric. So let's go on the table and we see how do we fold these pleats before we put them onto the cloth that will be on top of the table. So here we go. Since we are going to at the moment we are going to rotate this cloth onto the top cloth altogether, and since we had added some little inches, our circumference was 100 and we added 66 inches altogether. It was 100 inches and we added 66 inches as an extra in order to make our pleats. So that means that we are not going to make compact pleats because the fabric is not enough. So what you have to do, you can try onto this very cloth by making some pleats that are somehow distanced. For example, you put your fabric together, you put it here like this, you do like this and make a pleat together. I can pin here, I can pin here like this, together. So this is what we call a pleat. Since you don't have enough fabric, I can put another pleat here. Are you together? Are you together? I put another pleat here, but this one will be too distanced. Can I put another pleat here? Let me get something heavy. Put it here. Can I put another pleat here? On some parties, they just pin them onto tables by using these pins, or they use the smallest nails to attach them onto the table, and they don't come out or pull out from the table. All together. I'm gonna put another pleat here. Like that. I continue. So these are what we call the pleats, and these are knife pleats. All together. We are doing this just because you don't have enough fabric. This white fabric is not enough, but if it was enough, I would have maybe multiplied our 100 by 3, getting 300, and I go onto the sewing machine. I just make compact pleats. By the time I rotate it onto this fabric, it will be just enough. I have to make sure that the distance interval here is the same. Are you seeing? It should be the same. All together. So when you reach this part, you have to cut off this remaining part. The reason why it has remained here is because I thought I had made very few pleats. As you see, 1, 2, 3. You see, the pleats were very little. So when you reach here, you have to cut. You have to leave like 1 inch allowance and cut this part horizontally. Are you together? Up to down. Are you together? Up to down. And this part will be sewn here like this. Are you together? So those are our pleats. So what we are going to do, I'm going to remove this fabric. I remove it, I sew it as it is, then I put it onto, I sew it onto this top part. Are you together? The reason as to why I first put it here, I wanted to show you the distance that it will take. Are you together? So I'm going to remove this part, this cloth. I sew it like this. I'm going to sew it like this as it is here. Are you together? And then I'll just be getting it and I sew it onto this top cloth. Are you together? So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to leave these, to remove these pins, and I sew this part. So I remove this pin, I sew this part. I remove this pin like this. I sew this part as it is. I remove this one. I sew that part. as it is. And you have to make sure you don't reduce the size as you remove the pin, and you don't reduce, you don't increase. So you see, these are the pleats. I'm done sewing the pleats. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to get our cloth. You start at any point that you need, but you have to make sure that you start at the corner point, right, together. And you put your fabric here like this. Then you start sewing as they are. Have to make sure this pleat is set properly. You see this pleat, you have to pass here. And it has to appear like this. You see how it appears? It has to appear like this. Then I continue sewing. And when you reach this corner, I've reached this corner, you have to sew like this. You put your needle into that corner and do like this. Right together, do like this. Then you get this material, put it here like this. You continue sewing. Right together. Continue sewing. I reach another corner. This is another corner. I sew, I stand in the corner, I change like this. I bring this fabric up to here like this. Then I continue sewing. Right together. When I reach the end and these points meet like this, I have to get these points. I get this fabric and this one, I join them like this, then I sew them going down, right together. So I have this is the meeting point, so I have to sew here going down, right together. This is a corner here, so I have to sew this fabric and I slope down. These tablecloths can be used in hotels, in restaurants, depending on different designs, maybe knife pleats, box pleats, and depending on different colors. So let us put it on our table and we see, inshallah. So this is how our tablecloth looks like, and you have to make sure that your pleats come out very well. This one had come out very well, but the fact that they were too spaced due to the lack of enough material, they didn't move up to down all together. They didn't move up to down, but have to make sure that you make pleats that look nice. That the more compact your pleats are, the more nicer they look. Your tablecloth looks like. So that's how we do our tablecloth all together. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.